bridge over here has collapsed back in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us what this is here, Nick.
I want to be standing with you if I did that.
Well, this is the grave of my 8th generation back grandfather, Samuel Freeman, and this is his gun, Pennsylvania long rifle, and we're in Siloam, North Carolina, overlooking the Yadkin River. Come here, David.
Well, I feel like I'm not worthy to stand there by myself.
No, yeah, no, come stand with us. Let's see. Yeah, stand over.
They're kind of leaning over a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
What a cool spot.
Yeah. I remember when you first told me about him being your great-great-great-grandfather. I like to read about stuff like this, so I went online.
So crazy.
And you know, found out a little bit about his background and everything. And I made a mental note of the fact that I thought they said something about there was a marker somewhere around here.
Right.
That was put up by the DAR, the Daughters of the American
Is that right?
Revolution.
This is a really nice marker.
And
it's fitting.
To actually be standing here is pretty awesome.
This is the National Historic Place. There's a sign down there by the Secretary of Interior. National
Really?
Historic Place, yeah. There's a sign on the post down there.
Cool.
One of the first people in here who, you know, and from what I read, he came from
Devonshire, England.
Right.
On the ship the Abigail.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
And then lived like in northeastern North Carolina, like
Right.
around.
And this was their land granted. And see the deed. I mean, the land used to go from here. I mean, most of what Surry County is today was Samuel Freeman's original land. And that piece up there where Mom and Dad lived, that's it's still in the Freeman family. It's the only piece. And it's on it. It was called Shep's Mustache at the Fisher River right there.
And the guy who wrote
Fisher.
that,
Hardin Taliaferro, he's in the family cemetery.
back there behind, yeah.
We need to go over there sometime.
You took me there one time.
Yeah, we need to go back again. It's cool, and it's still there, and that's where my great grandfather's buried, and grandmother, and a lot of generations.
And your grandfather, Dix Freeman.
Yeah, Dix Freeman.
Wow. I bet you, seriously, I bet you he'd be really proud to know that you're
Yeah,
standing
well,
here.
and
With his
I think
gun?
he played the fiddle
Yeah.
too. Yeah, his gun's been passed down.
Cool. What a perfect time for the sun to be hitting
Oh
it too.
yeah, it's like this thing is beautiful. I didn't expect that. I didn't even.
What
know
a
I was
pretty
looking
place to be buried.
I'm like, what is that? A fire pit?
Train tracks and
This is
it.
land. This is
Yeah.
probably the best damn farmland in
Yeah.
Surry County right there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Some of the damn best.
Look
No
at that.
doubt.
That's a big
Beautiful.
flat river bottom right there.
Hell yeah. This is probably a 100-year floodplain right here.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It is beautiful.
It said that he wanted to be buried, you know, overlooking his beloved Yadkin Valley.
It's a funky old tree. That's some kind of nut tree, I think. Like a
perfect for somebody like you.
nut tree. These flowers are beautiful, and these will be daylilies. When all these are daylilies, it'll be blooming later. It's a beautiful place to be buried. So that was a long time ago.
That was a real long time ago.
1796. He was a pretty old man. He was supposed to have been about 75 when the Battle of Kings Mountain happened. That's an old man for back then.
Tell me a little bit about the rifle.
Well, just been passed down a long time. I don't know who the last person that actually shot it, but it's my grandpa always had a deer that he killed back in the 40s, the head, and he always had it up there on it, and nobody ever handled it too much. It's but when David, when you said to do it, I said, I got that gun. It's like it's really quite cool to have it, even though it's kind of funky, but it's amazingly light for the size.
And it's Samuel Freeman.
It's Samuel Freeman, the guy that's just buried right there. This was his gun.
Wow.
You know, I don't know in what fashion the gun. You know, probably had more than one, I'm sure. But
You think there's a possibility that maybe that rifle was with him at Kings Mountain?
I mean, I like to assume so, but who knows exactly? But I mean, it possibly could be. It's the same time frame. I mean, it's old and handmade. I guess in Pennsylvania.
Man, that is super cool.
But yeah. I really like wood, maybe poplar or something. But yeah.
Hey, David.
Hey, Michael. We're here at the tombstone of Samuel Freeman, who was a major figure in the establishment of Surry County and early settler of Surry County. Owned a lot of Yadkin River bottomland, which is over here to my left. And this is Nick's, how many great-grandfather?
8th generation.
8th generation great-grandfather. And because he's such a central figure, like in the history of this area, and also because he's Nick's eight times great-great-grandfather, we decided to take a little bit of time today, kind of a little bit spur of the moment, a little bit of research, but not much, and find this tombstone. And we're near Siloam, North Carolina, S-I-L-O-A-M. Nick, tell me just a little bit about how you got interested in the history of this.
Well, just researching my history on my mother's side of my family, the Freemans. There's a thing called the Surry County book, and reading that, it led me to through some internet searching, and found out it was really easy to find track. They came in on the ship to Abigail, and settled kind of in eastern North Carolina, and then was land granted the land, which is almost all of Surry County now. There's a lot of acreage. And there's also my family farm back toward Roundpeakers, so that's how it kind of spread. We're in Siloam, and Roundpeakers is a pretty good ways away. Surry County's pretty big, and so this is found out about him, and then found out David was really into the Battle of Kings Mountain, and through that kind of realized, well, you know, he was in the Battle of Kings Mountain, and didn't realize what facet that he was in, but he was a major figure in getting the over the mountain men mustered, and then he took up arms after, and he was an old man then. 70 years old. He died in 1796, it says. Born in 1715.
1715.
Which is pretty dang, you need to be an old man.
Yeah. And the Battle of Kings Mountain was in October of 1780.
Right. So he was pretty old.
He was an old guy.
Yeah. And
we think that maybe this Pennsylvania long rifle.
Right. This is one that's been in the family, passed down, and it was supposedly his, and it's been around. And it is a Pennsylvania long rifle. I mean, it could be one he carried at Kings Mountain. It could just be one he hunted with. But anyway, it was his, been passed down generations. And it's cool. As soon as David said, well, let's find Samuel Freeman, I got psyched. I said, well, I'd take a picture with this gun, and it'd be cool. Reignite item, you know.
I'm sorry, but explain the significance of the Pennsylvania long rifle and why that was such a advantage that the Americans had.
Well, this gun right here is the main reason that America's America and broke away from the British at that time. This was their hunting rifle that was made in Pennsylvania, and it's got a rifle barrel, and they were really good shots with it because their life depended on it to get food and protection and everything else. And it's a long gun, so it makes it really accurate shooting longer distances, but it's pretty light considering it's so long. But they like the history book said, they hid behind the bushes and could take them out, you know, and it was the British never could figure that out. They lined up. They had 4 guns where they had to line up really close to shoot each other, and they caught them on Kings Mountain, and fighting going up that mountain. It's like the British was really unprepared, and they mowed them down with the group of people called the Over the Mountain Men, which is people from western North Carolina, all the counties around here and up on the mountains. They all mustered because they heard that they were coming to burn them out, and they said, well, you're not going to burn us out. We're going to find you somewhere where it's not on our land. And so they started marching, and that's where they found them, Kings Mountain.
Took the fight to them.
Yeah, so they didn't burn their houses down. They were pretty smart.
And the Pennsylvania long rifle, because it was so accurate, it gave the Americans such a major advantage, and this was something that neither side saw coming. Neither the main part of the American command, like Washington and those guys, or Cornwallis on the British side, They didn't see this whole thing coming. It
No,
was just like a
these-
sucker punch.
Yeah, these wasn't really soldiers. They were just average citizens, really, that said, well, we're going to go take care of this. They wouldn't, train fighters or nothing, but they just knew how to defend themselves and how to shoot.
People like John Sevier and Isaac Shelby and Daniel Morgan. He may not have been at Kings Mountain. He was at Cowpens. But anyway, I'll say this just as a little side note, that if anybody's interested in learning more about this, way more than we can really probably get into now, there's a great documentary on YouTube called Frontier: Decisive Battles: Kings Mountain. Frontier: Decisive Battles: Kings Mountain. And that'll give people a real good idea of what this is all about.
Yeah. It's really cool, and it's cool to be standing here right in Surry County.
Well, that was cool as hell.
Time to Freeman. Well, the rest is peace, old buddy.
Man,
Just to take your gun from back on the wall. Oh, yeah. We're almost to do the thing down the road. Leo Fenders, we'll do that.
We'll do that one too.
Well, it was fun, Dad. I had a lot of fun.